Hello there, you're welcome to another tutorial on SC I'm Sir Classy, and on this tutorial, you're going to learn how to make a guitar type Afrobeat instrumental. Hit the subscribe button and let's get started. All right, so we're going to start with setting up our project. We're going to try from something, let's say 96 BPM. We can always change it soon or later. Let's say 96 or 97. Let's do a 97 first. And then we have a little bit Omnisphere guitar, fingerstyle acoustic 6 string. I'm sure how to make this virtual guitar sound realistic with some effect processing and the way you play them. So we'll come here and we'll save our project so we can get started properly. So this project file is going to be available on our community section. So we'll name this Afrobeat guitar tutorial. We'll name this one, this beats Mara project file. So when you click the link in the description, you can join our community section. You can get access to all of our previous project files, kits, loops, samples, all of that for just one low price in a year. So let's get started, shall we? So here we have our guitar loaded. So we're going to create an empty pattern and we're going to come to song mode, and this is the progression we're going to be playing. And also going to play another progression. So let's play the first progression. But before we do, let's make sure the metronome sets us on time. All right. So we'll listen back. So for guitars, I will not advise you to quantize to have it straight like this. You see how unrealistic it sounds? You can manually make it like fit very close to the line. Let's assume you come here. If you were to click this in with a mouse, you can start with none and you can just simply move it around, but very close to the line here, very close to this line here. And FL Studio also has a feature you can use to get it done. Let me select this and quantize it. So now all I have to do is press alternate S, the strumizer tool. So what this does is that it helps you score. You know, guitars, when you hit a guitar, you call it a strum. Or in piano, you strike a chord, but in piano, you strum your guitars. So if I do this, you can see it's already taking it slightly off grid. So, but since I played it perfectly already with my MIDI, I don't need to do all of that, but you can also do that as well. So let's listen to this chord progression over again. All right, so we have our first chord, then we'll go to our second chord progression. We'll come here and we'll record this. Pardon, let's do that again. That's going to be our second chord progression for like the bridge. Sometimes when your FL Studio does this, so this is the notes. So you can see it has this perfectly on the grid. We don't want it to be perfectly on the grid. So we're going to select this and we're going to use our strumizer tool. You can use your control shift to do multiple selection. Then we'll press alternate S. And then we'll strum it just a little. We don't want it to be too far off from the grid. See see how realistic that sounds. So that's how to make your guitar sound realistic. That's one of the easiest ways aside from adding effects. So we have two different parts. So we're already starting out our song structure as early as possible, but it's going to be divided like this. The first 8 bars, we have the straight chords. Then it will graduate into this other part here. All right. So that's it for our chord progression. Then next we start with a simple drum pattern and then we'll build the melodies up from there. All right, so we have our drums loaded here. This is our kick. This is our hi-hats, another hi-hats, our snare, and our shaker. All right, so let's build a simple drum bounce. So we use the snare, something like that. So we'll come right here. We'll play this in with MIDI. So let's listen. So we use that bounce. Let's just focus on these first two sides for now, and then we'll come to our kick. 4 steps. Reduce the volume. And also volume of our guitar so it will not drown the drums. Let's bring this back in then. The kick to be more bouncy. Just have that swing in between. Let's try this. Then let's bring in the shaker. Then let's listen and see. Let's make it. Let's reset the pitch. Then I think we need to take out these hi-hats. Let's hear how it sounds with this other guitar. So I think we need to add some percussions here and there. Let's see from which pack. Let's add some swing. Then we'll add this. Alright, so this is going to be our basic drum bounce for now. Next, we're going to continue with the melodies, get some more melodies, and flesh out some more ideas using guitars and other elements and instruments as well. Now, for the second melody, or rather, the first in this case is an electric guitar, and we're just going to play the same chord, but with just a little change in the vibe. I'm going to play this. Sorry. That's what we're going to play at some parts of it. So it's going to come in here. So let's listen to it and see. I'm going to copy it here as well. So when this comes in, so next we're going to have another melody. So if your Omnisphere is becoming too heavy on your PC, because typically Omnisphere is a very heavy plugin, feel free to render your sounds, and which is what we're going to do. Although my PC can take it, but I don't want to have unnecessarily too many instances of Omnisphere. So now we're going to create some more melodies with that same plugin. Let's see if we can strum it. That is by playing simple chords. One strike chord like that. Or we can try this. Alright, so let's settle in for one. So we'll create a new pattern and let's start from here. Yes, I know I made changes towards the end, and this is how to make your beats interesting. Sometimes making it too repetitive might sound boring. So we'll quantize this and see how it sounds. So it sounds too... So we're going to reduce the length so it doesn't have too much sustain. Somewhere here. Then we're going to try to use the strum tool as well. Alternate S. Sounds better. so we're going to add another instrument, a piano. So we're going to use a very simple soft piano from Cork Triton. Let's see. Come to keyboards, acoustic piano. So let's listen and see what we can get with this. All right, let's add that in. Now, at the same time, we don't want our vibe to be too much. So we'll take that out. All right, let's listen now. You can do the same strum too for piano if you want. I'm just going to randomly arrange it. Double that, and this is the chorus. I will bring this here. All right. So this is the basic structure, and next we're going to lay a bass line and we're going to structure it even further. So just before we lay our bass line, we're going to add a pad. So we're just going to clone this. What the pad will do is going to help us uplift the vibe of different parts of the song. We'll go to our favorites because I already saved it to my favorite section in Cork Triton, and I'll go to simple sine pad. All right, so come here, first empty, and then you can just copy this, since it's the same progression really, or you can copy the guitars, anyone really, they're all the same progression. Then we'll come to Triton 2, Cork Triton 2, paste it, but we're going to have to shorten it because this instrument has a lot of sustain and we need to make it align. We don't need it to strum, so we need to quantize it to make it straight. Everything has to be on the same line so we don't get melodies that fight each other, especially with the pads, because pads typically have long sustain. So let's see how it sounds. Let's take a higher octave up. Control, you can select all, then control down, we take a lower octave, control up, we take a higher octave. So we take that out, it's too close. We'll reduce it even some more. Let's even bring it back. Control alternate Z to undo multiple times, then reduce it all together. Another thing again you can do with pads is you can do this. Sometimes it doesn't have to be like 8 bars all the way. You can alternate it. So like after every 4 bars, a pad comes in like this. It makes the song even more dynamic and more interesting. All right, so now let's add a bass line. So for bass, we're going to use Purity for our bass. Our bass is going to be quite simple, nothing too fancy. So we'll come to presets, we'll go to bass guitars. I recommend A bass because it has a lot of low end and it can cut through the mix. So when creating bass line, I advise you stick to these roots of your either this or this. If you have 3 chords, stick to the lower bottom. If you have 4 notes playing as a chord, any of these two is fine. So let's create a simple bass line. First empty. Pardon me, the guitar is selected. So let me select bass. So our bass is going to be something like this. That's just going to be our bass. And our bass is going to be more like anywhere the pad comes, that's where the bass is going to come in. But we'll record it here so we can hear it more clearly. Yeah, I know I changed the last part, but it was just to make it even more interesting. But it's still in the same. If you check out the chords, the bass are still playing within the same chord notes. So just copy this all the way, select, then we'll listen. Sorry. Then here we have the hook. All right. So this bit kind of takes you on an emotional roller coaster. Like it takes you high, then it brings you low, then it takes you high again and bring you low. Like it keeps changing. But at the same time, it's predictable. Overall, it has a predictable theme. Like we don't have any surprising elements. Like after this arrangement, we don't have anything that is going to be or rather too surprising that's going to come in. So now let's structure it properly now. We're going to give some space as usual. Although we already have our first verse and our chorus. So we're going to create an intro. Let's see. Let's see. Then we're going to, you can always insert, if maybe you have a new idea, you can always insert one. Then come here, bring it here. Now I want to take out just the kick, so I'll make this unique. And I'll double this. Now take out my kick. So now we're going to take this, double it up to get our second verse and then chorus. But before that, let me show you another song structure. Let me delete this. Let's say you can make this lead directly into your chorus, because this also be something like a bridge. So you can save the bridge for a second chorus, because it may be too surprising to have a bridge in your first parts. Pardon me. So then you have your chorus. You can have your bridge also, like after the chorus. Then now you can bring in your second verse, then a bridge, then now you have your chorus. So let's create an outro. We'll just copy this, and then we'll create an outro for it. Then you can even bring the full kick back again, so it just keeps riding. You can make your outro 8 bars, 16 bars, 12 bars, 4 bars, but don't make it too long though. So this is the full structure. And of course, we're going to add some drum rolls, some transitions, and some things here and there. So let's start with, I think you can even make this song do without drum rolls. Let's see if we can make some great transitions without drum rolls. Let's see. For every 8 bars, we keep bringing the part without key. And you can even make it interesting by continuing it to continue in the second verse, and then you can take out these elements. You can see how interesting it's becoming. So you see, we already created a very nice structure the even without having drum rolls. All right. All right, so we're going to be adding some effects to our guitars to make it sound even much more realistic, as I said earlier. Um, so Omnisphere, you can let's just select it, Omnisphere, Omnisphere 2, and we may also add to our bass. So let's just take all the instrument sounds to the mixer. Won't be doing a serious mix, but just to enhance the quality sound of our guitars to make it sound even much more realistic, like it's the real thing. So I'll take all of this off. Oh, I think let's take this out of the way. All right, I think we're good. So first of all, I advise you do a little bit of EQ to take out some of the low end. Don't kill the life, just a little. I don't need to brighten it. You may brighten it if you want, but I don't feel. Just only take out a little bit of low end. Then you come to fruity phaser or flanger or flanger, anyone. Let's try phaser first and see. You can reduce the effect here. See how it makes it sound. Then you can add a little bit of saturation, fruity distort, just a little to make it sparkles, just a little. All right. So since we already have another guitar playing here, or rather a piano, they are similar elements, so you pan them in opposite direction. So we'll have this. Let's turn off our let's turn that off. All right. Let's do some EQ. Then we'll do a little bit of reverb on the piano to make it sound even more real. Let's see, reverb. We'll make the reverb a bit long. You can add a little bit of, let's try chorus on the piano. Flat and clean. That's fine. You can reduce it a little as well. All right, so next we'll go to the next section where we have the strum again. I think. Yeah, it's this section, sorry. Yes, it's rendered. So we'll link it here, Control L. Again, in opposite direction, or slightly opposite, not too far. Then we EQ it again to take out a little bit of low end. Let me show you a trick you can do with Fruity multiband compressor to make it sound even more exciting. You come to bright and you listen. And you can even make it, you can add some effects to it to also make it sound more interesting. See how it sounds now. You can also adjust the level of the effects. All right, then up next, let's look for the next guitar section. I think it's this guy right here. There's a section we are missing. All right, I think it's this guy. So this is why it's important to name your tracks and name your mixer. But because it's a tutorial, we only have so little time, so we'll leave this at the middle or close to the middle because we already have guitars playing left and right. I already have a piano, so we don't want to create a mess in the stereo field. So we can just pan this a little here, since there's a piano on the right side. You can leave it clean. You don't have to add effect to all your guitars. Adding effect to all your guitars make it sound clumsy. You can leave this one clean and direct, but at the same time, you take out a little of the low end. Taking out the low end of your guitar does not mean you change the character of it. Just necessary low end it causes. Like when you play, if you handle a real live guitar, there's some bass resonance that comes from it. Either it's acoustic or electric. So you have to clear out those unwanted bass elements so it can be really clear and sound bright in the mix. Boost a little. You can add reverb. Where's our reverb? All right, here. Size the low end, reduce the decay. We don't want to sustain too long since it's a strum. So now let's see how it fits with our bass. At the same time, we also EQ our bass. Just a little, because we don't want to kill the bass of our bass. Just a little. And a trick to make your bass really shoot out without messing up your mix, you add a saturation plugin, and a very good saturation plugin is Fruity Distorts. Reduce the mix, reduce the threshold. Then next is this guy. You can pan it all the way here. At the same time, also always check for the low end. There's always something messy going on at the low end. Type high pass. All right, so we have a decent mix for our guitars. So that's how to make your guitar sound even more realistic when mixing or when you're just making the beats in FL Studio. All right, so if you find this tutorial helpful, don't forget to subscribe and give us a thumbs up so that other people that may need this can easily find this on YouTube. You can also click the link in our description below to get access to this project. And remember, our community section, this you can access all the projects that we've ever created on this channel. We have loops as well, Afrobeat loops, Afrobeat kits, quality percussions, quality kicks and snares that will enhance your production up over 100%. And yeah, don't forget to subscribe once again. I remain Sir Classy. This is SC Toots. Cheers.